Good morning, boys and girls. Today's Tang time. Tang is brought to you by Orange Pineapple. It's a mix. You're supposed to make like two separate containers, but I dump it into one because the orange is kind of funny and the pineapple helps. And in case you feel cheated, you didn't see the package. Last week's was mixed berry Tang. It's brand new and it's actually really good. Yeah, I drink a lot of Tang. So today we're going to cover a couple things. School book donations, that's a fun thing. A funeral for a friend, not a fun thing. And a retraction. First, the retraction. On my first Tang time with Tito Tim, I said Tang in the Philippines was sugar-free. It is not. It is extremely light on the sugar, shall we say. A can of Coke is 33 grams of sugar. A sugar cube is, I think, 4 grams, thereabouts. I should look it up. It's about. So it's, you can imagine a can of Coke is like 10 sugar cubes. A cup of Tang, according to their recipe, is 1.5 sugar cubes instead of 10 for a Coke. Tang in the US has just as much sugar as Coke, so it's a completely different recipe. However, the Tang here, the flavor is too strong. So instead of making 1 liter, I make a little over 2. My container is like 2 1/4. It's a weird size container. So my glass of Tang has half a sugar cube. Not sugar-free if you're diabetic, but if you're counting calories, close enough. Anyway, that was the retraction. Sorry for the misspoke. Didn't really lie, because to lie, you purposely mislead. I was just fucking wrong. We're doing school supplies. This year, not too much. We got real sidetracked on going to the US, filing for retirement, paying for a trip to the US. So there hasn't been any extra money, and just things got hectic and quite busy. So we did some shopping for a very small group of children this year. We bought backpacks, which is an improvement instead of just a little plastic envelope and putting in. But when you're doing for 150 kids, you're not buying backpacks. This year we did buy backpacks and loaded it with school supplies, but we only bought like, was it 5 or 6 sets? We're just doing a small group. I didn't try and raise any money this year, and with paying for the trip to the US, I just didn't have any extra money this year. No big deal. It was fun. I'll show pictures and stuff while I talk. While we were there, I did take, of course, my break. Just had to kick back at the iMart while she did a little more shopping without me, and I found some Trolley gummy bears. Not very good for you. Oh my God, were they sweet. You eat them and like your head would explode. They're so sweet. They were pretty good. Could not eat the whole package at once, that's for certain. And because it was very close to school, oh, you should see the crowds at them. Oh my God, the crowds out in town were insane. One of the big stores, Diamond, is run by a nice Indian fellow. One of the few places in town you see pictures of Krishna and Ganesh instead of Jesus and his mom. So that was interesting. But they're so busy they have to shut their gate on their entrance door until enough people leave out the exit door. They reopen the gate and they let people in a few at a time. The store is packed. When it's that busy, I do not go. It's more of a clothing store. They don't do the school supplies, but they do school uniforms, and they do them cheap. So it's really a popular store. Generally, it's not bad. It's always busy, but not like this. So we've got the notebooks and pencils, erasers, pens, what have you. So it's a smaller group, but they will appreciate it. and it's a better pack of supplies than we've been giving because it was a smaller group. I need to contact the Rotary Club I used to be in because there's an orphanage in the city, and I would like to start doing something more locally instead of always sending stuff out to the province. They need money here just as much as out in the province. So this little orphanage in the city, we've done some work through the Rotary Club before. I would be interested in doing school supplies for them next year. Or maybe something for Christmas. It's actually time to start thinking about Christmas presents if I'm going to do anything, because time passes quickly. This is sometime in June right now, I think. But school supplies was a small thing this year, but it was nice, and I'm sure the kids appreciated it. The other topic, unfortunately, was a funeral for a friend. Really, a big problem here is because most of the people here, the foreigners, are retired, they're a bit older. Now, I came here early, so I'm getting old and I look old, but I'm only 55 now. Most of these guys don't come over till they're like 65. So they come over here already pretty wore out from their jobs. All the health problems that go with it, bad health care here, bad air. It does not help for a long retirement, but it's a nice retirement. And I came young, so I've already had 6 good years here. I can't complain too much. Unfortunately, some of them do. Now, this is one of my best friends here for years. It's been 4, almost 5 years I've known this cat. He's a retired baker and a magician. So we hooked up through magic, and we would I'd go to his house and practice magic tricks and stuff. My wife would make fun. So, oh, you're going to your friend's house to play? Yeah, I am. I got no problem with that. And his wife was an incredible cook. Oh God, everything's cream sauces and cheese and just, I used to joke with this guy because he was putting on a bit of weight. I was like, dude, when is your heart attack scheduled? This shit's gonna kill you. And it did not. He was having back problems. He had to get a disc fused in his back and thought about doing it here, like in Manila. But even his wife agreed because they've lived in the U.S. for years. She is a U.S. citizen now. In case of any issues, it would be better to be in the U.S. They have better pain medication. The healthcare here is not really bad, but it is better in the U.S. So he went back to the U.S. They opened him up to fuse his back. When they got in, they found stage 4 bone cancer. Stage 4 is never a good sign. It's already pretty much over. And bone cancer can be one of the most painful. So it was like, good thing he was in the U.S. for this, because he would have been miserable here once it really started getting bad. But it was so far advanced when they found it. They had a friend of theirs contact me here and tell me, and 2 weeks later he was dead. I mean, it was like real quick, out of the blue. We're like, oh shit, what happened? You know, it was not, we didn't see this one coming at all, man. And so I went to his funeral. Generally, don't take this wrong, I think funerals are pretty much a waste of time, because the dead are dead and don't know or care because they're gone. So funerals are really for the survivors, and usually I find it's like some preacher that probably doesn't even know them talking some bullshit about whatever, and it's really, I guess, more for the people left behind. If that makes them feel better, I'll go. I prefer a good wake. You have a memorial service where you're sitting around eating, drinking, hopefully at the person's favorite bar or restaurant, telling stories, laughing, crying, you know, a good wake. To me, that's better than a funeral. But this was my best friend, and his wife's been cool, so I at least owed it to her to go. And it was a Catholic funeral, with all that entails. Oh, those get so long. Sitting, standing, kneeling. Anyway. Not a great service, but not a great reason to be there. But it was nice enough. And then we went to the cemetery, and they had all the snacks and drinks there. I figured we would go back to their house afterwards, but we had the little service at the cemetery after, and just stayed there with sandwiches and drinks, and just had kind of a picnic there at the cemetery, which is not uncommon here. But that's one of the unfortunate facts of life here as an expat, because most of us are retired and older and falling apart. You lose a lot of friends here. We've had a couple here already that I know that have died in the last 6 years, and quite a few of the online friends from various parts of the Philippines that have died. We've had 3 right here, friends of mine, that died in the last 6 years. So unfortunately that happens anywhere you live as you get older, but here, because it's not the most healthy life here, but it's a nice one. So I am here for a good time, not necessarily a long time. People have asked me about health care, where's a good hospital, and this and that, and I always give them the same answer. If health care is a major concern, stay where you are. Health care is important, of course, but like where I live, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, 200 yards down a little goat path just to get to some pavement. If I have a heart attack, I'm dead, period. The nearest ambulance is 6 miles up the road. They'd have to come down here, carry my fat ass out to the road, then get an hour to the city. Well, in an ambulance, 40 minutes maybe. Forget it. So I already know that in an emergency, it ain't happening. That's a fact of life. You can deal with it, or you can get a condo next to a hospital. But to me, if it was that big of a concern, I'd stay in the U.S. I'm here to enjoy life. I am enjoying life. A friend of mine, Steve, was also doing really well. He just had a lot of work done. Got his legs fixed. He was, getting healthier than he's been in years. And so you enjoy life. You do what you can. It lasts until it's over. That's kind of a bummer, but that's the way it is. School supplies are a much more fun topic. We love helping kids. We like buying school supplies. This year was a little light, but it was still good. Okay, we're going to try and do this on camera, if I can get it aimed properly. This is a mango from the yard. We have a couple mango trees, and this year has been particularly good. I don't slice mangoes, she does. So we will give it a try. There is a large hard part in the middle. It's not exactly a pit, but it's kind of. And if you run the knife, you'll feel it. You just kind of stay above it. It's really hard to cut through, so you really aren't going to cut it accidentally. It's a little overripe, but we've already had the pickers here to pick the best and sell them somewhere in the market. This part has good mango around the edges, but you gotta kind of leave the funky pit thing in the middle. Just slice it, kind of perforate it here, and then you've got this beautiful mango. And you take a spoon and just eat that right out. You know, in the US I used mango and I tried to do stupid things like peel it. You do not peel a mango. I suppose you can, but you will be very messy when you are done. You just cut it like that, take your spoon, or if you want to eat, you could just eat it like that. You don't even need a spoon. But they're wonderful, and then this I usually don't eat because it's very messy. You just cut the skin off and then munch that part and it drips down your chin and it's wonderful. Let's go get a spoon. I'm not prepared for this. I am back with a spoon and I will eat some. First I will scoops it out, then we'll turn the camera around. See, it's just super soft. It's almost overripe, but we're gonna eat this and see if it's good. And we're back. Mango. Fresh mango, straight out the yard. Finest kind, man. This is some good stuff here, Maynard. Mango. And my sabatier. Gotta have proper kitchenware. Love my sabatier. Bought it in 1983 from William Sonoma. Hand forged in France. I love my knives. It's an illness. Yeah. I'm in my own little world, but I'm happy here. And I've got mango.
Enjoy your day in paradise.